YouTube, what is good? As you can see by the thumbnail, we're gonna get my man together, but this is how he came in looking, right? He's a few months without a haircut, so we're gonna begin this cut by trimming the top. So what I want to do is dampen the hair so that way it's nice and moldable when we create our sections. So now we're gonna create one starting in the crown moving forward, and we're gonna create a section on the right side, in the middle, and on the left side. And a cool reference point when creating these sections is the inside of the eyebrow. So now I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So we'll create that middle section and then comb it over towards the right. And now what we're going to do is use that middle section as our guideline. So I'm just going to re-dampen the hair here. And now we're going to lift that middle section up. Staying nice and composed, making sure we take nice clean sections. And he didn't want much length taken off, he really wanted to add texture, so we just came to the point where we're going to take off a 1/4 inch and point cut to add texture while we trim. So I'm starting in the front and I'll work my way back. Now when point cutting, that used to be a big struggle spot for me because I would kind of hit my fingers and cut them. So to prevent that, what I do is rest the steel blade on my finger and allow the moving blade to cut the hair. So we're staying nice and clean, working our way back. And the cool thing with the textured haircut is, since it is so textured, you don't have to be a stickler about making sure that the hair is completely even, because what creates that texture is the slight unevenness in between the hairs, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get it to the general length you want to knock down the top to. And you'll see I'm maintaining that square shape, and what that means is when I'm lifting up the hair, I'm not curving it to the head, I'm pulling straight up and going straight across. So now we're almost done with that middle section. Just working on that crown area, making sure we get some nice, point cuts in between the hairs. And now we're going to comb that middle section over towards the right. And what we're going to do is take horizontal sections moving forward. So you'll see I started with that middle guideline, combed it over towards the right, and then lifted it up. And we're going to bring all the hairs to match that middle guideline. So we're taking our time, adding that texture. And the shears that I'm using are 6 inches in total. I think from that, the point where it pivots, I think it's 4 inches. And I like to use smaller shears, especially when trimming, because they're a lot more easier to handle, ergonomic, as well as when they're too big. A lot of times it can be hard to hold the scissors and trim the hair. So I find when trimming, 4 to 6 inches is the perfect size for scissors. So little by little, we're working our way towards the front, bringing everything together. And even when I'm trimming the top, you'll see I'm going straight across because I want this to have a more square shape. So even when I get to the round of the head here, I'm not curving it, right? I'm staying straight across. So now we're towards the front, grabbing that last section, pulling straight up and trimming it to that middle guideline length. And as you can see, this is super easy, super simple. It allows you to stay organized without getting lost in the trim. Now I'm just pulling back, cross-checking, and now we'll grab that middle section again, and we're going to comb it over towards his left, which is the side we did not trim yet. So we're going to start in the back once again, taking those horizontal sections. And I like to make my section width about, the size of my finger. Especially when the hair is shorter, I don't want to grab a whole bunch. I want to take nice clean sections, because if you take off too much, what you're going to do is over direct some of the hairs back. And you don't want that to happen, right? We want this hair to lay down forward. So if you over direct it back, it's just going to cause unevenness and not look right. taking our time, chopping it up with our client while we cut his hair. And that's what it's about, guys. Don't get so caught up in the haircut unless the client is obviously not wanting to talk. Don't get so caught up in the haircut that you just don't talk to your client for 30-45 minutes, you know, because the haircut is a big part of the service, but as well as how comfortable you make that client feel. You know, a haircut is an entire experience, not just a haircut. So we're taking another nice clean guideline, lifting the hair up and bringing everything to that length. As you can see, not much length is being taken off because, again, all we want to do is add texture and just a light trim. And I've been trying to convince this client for the longest to keep his hair longer, because what we usually do is knock down the top to like a 6 or a 7, and it would cause his hairline to not be as full and as dense. And I think on this particular client, the longer length just looks a little better. But he was nervous because he didn't want to come off as having an Edgar. So I basically explained to him, if we keep it at a certain length where it's not too poofy and the bangs aren't super long, you know, this wouldn't be an Edgar. So finally, after I think 4 years of cutting his hair, he came in, he was like, Dre, we're not going to cut the top. All we're going to do is add texture, fade up the sides and line it up. And you guys will see how fire this actually comes out. So we're almost towards the front, which will complete our trim. So now we're going to take that last portion of hair towards the front, and we're just going to lift it up and finish off this trim. And I don't know about y'all, but a big struggle spot for me is when I'm trimming hair, is the hair that sticks to my actual finger that's lifting it up. It gets on my nerves. I wish it would just fall off. But now after we complete the top, what we're going to do is cross-check it standing on the side of him. And the reason you want to cross-check is because a lot of times when you're just working, you know, in one direction, you can miss some hairs. So as you can see, when I lift it up, there's some hairs that are a little too uneven. And I'm just going to point cut those as well. So definitely always cross-check your work. And at this point in the haircut, I'm feeling pretty confident about how the texture is going to come out once it's dry. So I'm super excited at this point in the cut to see it. And there's not really any structure here. I'm just kind of lifting the hair up, making sure everything is even. Now we're going to comb that forward and we're going to get into the blow dry. So with the blow dry, we're not going to go into like a crazy finish style. We're just going to try to dry the hair in the direction that it's going to be styled in, which is down. So I'm just using my vent brush and my Dyson hair dryer. And I'm just blowing the hair forward, kind of scrubbing with the brush to kind of get under the hairs and make sure that it's completely dry. I want the hair to lay down as naturally as possible, right? I don't want the hair to be forced down in the direction that it doesn't want to naturally lay, because that's how you get hairs that stick up. So now we're blow drying everything forward. And as you can see, keeping the length allows the fringe to cover up a lot of his forehead, which I think that just looks a lot better. So now we're going to get into the fade, which is the fun part. So we're going to grab our 2 guards to debulk the sides, because it has been a long time since this client came in for a haircut. And you'll see I'm using my comb kind of as a stopping point from taking this too high, because we want to leave weight along the parietal ridge. We don't want to take this fade up super high. And as well, I'm creating the shape of the blend that I want to have, right, which drops towards the back. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, just debulking with that too. And you guys will really see towards the end of this haircut why dropping the fade in the back complements this client's head shape as well as the hairstyle itself. So I'm coming in, flaring out. So the fade we're going to give him today is more of like a mid-drop fade. I wouldn't consider it a low fade. So now I didn't get to, I don't know why I didn't press record when I was establishing my bald line with the clipper closed, but I'm showing you the line I created, but I'm going to do it on this side. So I'm coming in clipper closed at the end of his eyebrow and dropping it towards the occipital bone in the back. And all the occipital bone in the back is the part of the head that kind of sticks out on most people and creates those dark spots. I want to keep it right below that. And the reason I'm using my clipper closed to establish this line is because it's just going to make it a lot easier to get rid of it, as opposed to coming in with my trimmer and pressing it into the hair. So we're staying consistent, following the shape of the blend that we created with that 2 guard, and making sure that it all comes evenly towards the back. And now we're going to use our trimmer to go ahead and bald out the bottom. Now you want to be careful to not take the trimmer all the way up to the clipper closed, because then it would just defeat the purpose. We want this line to be easy to get out. So I'm letting the weight of the trimmer do the work. I don't want to cause any irritation or redness, because you will notice that this client's skin gets pretty sensitive, his hair, and his scalp is, usually pretty dry just naturally. So I'm being careful when I'm going close to the skin to not, cause any more irritation than that's gonna happen already, right? And I'm looking at the guideline so far with this client's head shape, and I can already tell at this point in the haircut that everything is going to come together nicely. So I'm really pretty confident at this point. So now we have our foundations established, right? We have our bald line at the bottom that we're coming in with our new Stylecraft Flex shaver. We have the length on top. So all we know we need to do is blend that foundational part at the bottom to the foundational part at the top. So that's the area that we need to focus on, and that's why a lot of times, I like to start by trimming the top first, because when you do a buzz cut, majority of people at least knock down the top first and then do the fade. So if I can do the fade first, then establish my bald line, all I have to worry about is that transition from the bald to the length on top. So now to start this fade, we're going to come in lever open, still establishing, that shape that drops in the back, where we're going to go up about a finger's width. And all that means is put your finger at the top of that bald line and make your lever open the width of your finger. So I'm coming in with that open. You'll see me go over it a few times just to make sure that it is truly a lever all the way open. And you can see that redness that I was talking about there at the bottom, but you'll notice towards the end of the haircut it'll go away. It's because the area was just shaved. And now to get rid of the line in between, I'm going to come in lever closed on my clipper, and I'm going to tap at that line, and then I open it up a quarter of the way, moving up a little higher, and then we'll open it up halfway. And then really after halfway, that should pretty much blend into the lever open, but then you can open and close that lever as needed. So little by little, step by step, we're building out this fade, making it look clean. And usually I leave this line for last, but I kind of wanted to knock it out the way on this haircut specifically. So now we're going to grab our 1 guard lever all the way open, and we're going to do the same exact thing, going up a finger's width right above that lever open and dropping it in the back. And I'm flicking out with this 1 guard. I'm not trying to create too harsh of a line, especially at the top of the line. I want that transition to be as easy as possible. So now I'm moving the client, looking at it from a different angle. And now we're not going to get rid of the line in between. We're going to keep that for last, but we're going to go back to our 2 guard and go up a finger's width with this as well. Because initially when we used this tool, it was to debulk the sides, right? And make sure that we don't take it too high. But after I establish all my other lines, I'm able to see that we can go up a little bit higher. So I'm coming in with that 2 guard and I'm flicking out, using that comb as a stopping point. And then in my other videos, you'll see me do clipper over comb after this point, but because the hair is so short, I just went to my 3 guard open, and we're gonna blend up little by little. So I'm coming in with that 3 guard open, and we're taking it up just a little bit higher. So with these bigger guards, the lines aren't as distinct, so I can't tell you guys to go up a specific distance, but just go up just a little bit, probably a quarter above that line. And then you'll see me grab my 4 guard right after this. And this situation will prove to you that you don't need to do clipper over comb to blend into the length on top. It just saves time. So now we have our 4 guard open, and this should pretty much blend into that length that we trimmed the top down to. So you'll see I'm coming in with that 4 guard and coming off the shape of his head. I'm not digging into the side, I'm flicking out. And that transition is looking a whole lot cleaner, and you'll see towards the end of the cut I do some thinning shear over comb to go ahead and soften that weight at the top. And now we're gonna start blending down. So we have our 1.5, and we're gonna come in, lever all the way open, and we're gonna work at this line. And if we notice that the open isn't doing the job, we go ahead and close the lever as you just seen. And we're just working at this line, being sure not to take this 1.5 super high, right? We wanna go up high enough to where it could blend into the 2. We don't want to stop right at the line, but you want to be sure to not take it, you know, all the way up. So now we're in the back doing the same thing, working at this dark spot. Now the back of the fade is always going to be the most challenging, at least with most people, because there's a lot of indentations and crevices that cause dark spots within the fade. So sometimes it takes a little more detail in order to make that look, you know, blurry. So now we're going to get rid of the last line with the 1/2 guard lever open, and we're going to start off open, again being sure not to take this 1/2 guard too high, and we'll see what the open does. And then you'll see me close it halfway, as you've seen right there. And if halfway doesn't do the job, you'll see me close it up a quarter of the way, and that should pretty much bring everything together. But as you can see, this halfway is pretty much getting rid of this line, and I'm using a lot of the corner of the blade just to prohibit myself from taking the blend up any higher than needed. And this thing is coming together super clean. Again, in the back we're going to spend a little more time, so now I went ahead and closed it a quarter of the way, and I believe I open it up again, as you see. And now we're going to do some clipper over comb just to soften up any dark spots, and you know, it saves time because I don't have to go back and grab the 1.5. So doing clipper over comb helps me detail while saving time. So I'm coming in with that comb, flaring out slightly, and then any hair sticking out I'll go ahead and get rid of. So right there I'm using that comb as a guard, and as you can see it's stretching out this blend, making it look a lot cleaner. And especially in the back here, you'll see me do a little more attention to detail. And now we're going to soften and bring everything together with our thinning shear over comb. And same idea, we're coming in with the comb and flaring out slightly. And basically all that means is flare out the comb towards you, and then any hair sticking out we'll go ahead and hit with the shears. But that thing is coming together super clean. Boom. So now after we finish that other side, I'm gonna go ahead and line up the arch, starting at the top of the arch, and then we'll go to the bottom and meet those 2 points in the middle. And that's gonna help prevent me from digging into this area too much, to where when it grows back that area looks green or weird because of all the regrowth. but the hook really brings out any areas that we might need to go back in detail. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do this as well. So now after we went ahead and framed out his left side, we're gonna go ahead and get into the right side. Now with this right side, we're gonna follow the same exact system of fading. So I'm gonna kind of let you guys follow along and put the pieces together yourself. But what I do want to talk about is Dre Clipper Hands Academy. Alright, you guys have been hearing me talk about it here and there, so I want to bring it up again. Alright, Dre Clipper Hands Academy is my online course that will be available very soon, where if you're enjoying this tutorial, right, where it's shot off my phone, I'm doing a voiceover. On my online course, I have a professional videographer that records me doing the haircut in real time, which means no voiceover, and I show you exactly how I tackle how to do a haircut, any problems that might show up within the haircut, and it'll be from the perspective as if you're actually there with me. And then as well as I'll teach you guys how to build clientele, how to market yourself, how to make content for social media, and all of the above. Any questions you have, I will have the answer. And if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and hit the link in my description that says Dre Clipper Hands Academy. Press that link and it'll take you to a landing page. Now on that landing page, enter your email and you'll be the first notified when this academy drops. Listen, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for the value that this will bring to the next level, that this will take you. It's gonna be a good year. So again, if you are interested in Dre Clipper Hands Academy, hit that link in the description and we're gonna get you right when this drops. But I also have Dre Clipper Hands merch available as well. Listen, you guys showed mad love on my first merch drop. Link in the description as well. You guys almost have me sold out of the black. I still have a couple white tees left. So again, if you want to get a Dre Clipper Hands t-shirt, hit that link in the description. And it'll take you right to the website where you can purchase, and I will ship that out to you ASAP. Alright, that was my first product drop ever, and I was nervous, but you guys showed out and showed mad love. So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone who purchased the t-shirt. It really means a lot. And who knows, there might be more on the way. So after we do the 2 guard, we're gonna go ahead and grab our 3 guard open just like the other side, and we're taking it up just a little bit higher. This side gives you a better perspective of how I use these bigger guards. So I'm coming in and flaring off the shape of the head. And now we'll grab our 4 guard, which is the biggest guard we are going to use. And you'll see the transition is a lot cleaner. But again, we're going to come in with thinning shear over comb as well as clipper over comb. And I'm being sure to comb the hair down every time I come against it, because when you come against it with the bigger guard, it lifts the hair up. So you want to make sure that it's laying as natural as possible so you can get the smoothest blend and transition. And now we're going to drop down to our 1.5 open, and just like the other side, I'll start off open, and then if it doesn't work, I'll go ahead and close that lever. So I went ahead and closed it all the way right here, and little by little you'll see this line start to get blended out. And this blend is looking super soft and blurry. My client definitely had a good hair texture for fading in this video. So as you can see, we're just working with that 1.5 open once again. And now we're gonna get rid of that last line. So we're gonna grab our half guard lever open, and we're gonna work at this line going up a little above it, because you don't want to just tap at the line because you're not really blending. All you're gonna do is raise that line, right? So you want to make sure that you're blending enough into the guard above that open, or above that one open, and then we'll close it little by little, and you'll see this line start to get blended out. So now I have it closed all the way, and we're just working. Use a lot of the corner of the blade to get into those dark spots. So now in the back, we're gonna put a little extra attention to detail, because as you can see, it already looks a lot more dense, a lot darker. So I'm being sure to take my time and stretch this blend out as much as possible. And now we'll do some clipper over comb to go ahead and get rid of any dark spots or bulk that we might see. And again, we're using our comb as a guard here. So that comb flat against the head is equivalent to a 1. So we know that we're going to be able to detail anything that's a 1 and above, depending on the angle we hold that comb. So coming in, flaring out, especially in the back right here, you can see how it drops very nicely, complements his head shape. And I will soften everything up with the thinning shears to give it more of a smooth effect, not so choppy. And that thing is hitting. And now we're gonna line up the arch on this side as well, starting at the top, and then we'll work our way to the bottom and meet those 2 points in the middle. And the lineup acts as the framework to the entire haircut, so it'll bring out anything you might need to go back in detail and really show you what you've done so far. And now we're going to get into the front lineup. Now with this front lineup, again, we want to keep a lot of the fringe to cover up, his hairline. So we're going to start in the middle and work towards his left. So we're not going up super high on the lineup. We're going up enough to where we're cutting the hairs that are see-through. So that way the hair is a lot more dense. And then we're just going to bring it to the corner. Now we're going to comb those hairs down again and reline it, because you don't want the client to go home, shower, and have all those little hairs that hang over. Super clean. Now we'll go to the other side and do the same thing, starting in the middle and then working our way towards the corner. Now we're going to hit his vertical bar, sharpen that up as well. And now we are going to enhance his hook just to make it look darker, give it that Instagram quality that really draws attention. So I'm coming in with my barber plug enhancement card and my Kiss Express mix. And I kind of oversprayed it right there, so you'll see me wipe away the excess. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side, spraying it lightly and then darkening it up as needed. Now this haircut didn't really need it, but again, I wanted to sauce it up. And now to really sharpen up that edge up, I'm going to use my razors. So I'm stretching the skin and bringing everything to the line to get rid of the little stubble. Boom. And now we're going to finish off the top by styling it with our 245 texturizing powder. And this right here is where you see the texture come alive. So we're spraying it, and I like the powder because it gives it more of a dry look, not so wet. But I am going to cocktail this with 245 matte clay as well. And this right here is really going to set the style off, make it look super textured and messy, but at the same time organized, right? So I'm working it into the hair. Here's a little clip of the other side, combing those edges down. But family, look at that. Blend going crazy, style going crazy, lineup going crazy. Listen, I appreciate you guys for watching. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. There will be more tutorials dropping soon, but like always, see you guys next time.